in to burn rubber and making motors blow. So what the school asked her just how fast she liked to go. She said, how many cube inches you got where it counts? I told her 425 and she broke my motor mouth. She's a hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod ain't enough for her. She didn't say a word. She's a hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. And I'm in my rod to pose. She's a hot rod whore. Well, she said no top pistons, salt and bag chefs who, and a vulnerable and a positive traction returns her to go. Fat head, no head, give her the kind of head buddy your table wag. Who's gonna who's sitting on your hoop? It's in the bag. She's a hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. This you don't need to know your son. Just your token power. She's a hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. This shining my rod to pose. She's a hot rod whore. Hot rod.
I love that song. All right, so welcome to Jeff's Garage. We are live. We do have guests tonight. I'm going to go ahead and bring up my motorcycle madman guru, Blazin, is in the house. And of
What's
course,
up, gentlemen? It's been a couple weeks. How's everybody
right.
doing? It
And
has.
then, of course, we have the supercar guru in the house. You're muted, by the way. But yeah, tonight we are going to, the episode tonight is called Whoever Dies with the Most Toys Wins. It's a very simple concept that was actually come up. My dad used to say that all the time. He said, you know, I'm an old man. I'm allowed to buy toys. And he would buy stuff that he didn't need, but wanted. In 1986, he bought a tractor. Why? Because he could. That's considered a toy. You know, just because you make a little money on it, or even if it's just a toy, you're going to play with it. But before we get there, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. And then, I forgot to put it on the. So let me go ahead and switch that real quick. I'm going to take it off X here for a second. Oh, I can't. Oh, well, I'll switch it over. We are also part of the Nonsensical Network. On Mondays is Men's Caring for Men. Last night was fun. Tuesdays, of course, is Jeff's Garage. Wednesdays is What the Fuck News. Thursdays is Talking Shit, although they do have a show right after us tonight. And then Saturdays is the Nonsensical Nonsense show where we have the Open Door Challenge. And Sundays, of course, we wrap up the week with Jarvis with his show. He's actually switching over to a sports show, so it's going to be interesting. And I think it'll be a lot easier on him.
He's not doing any more.
Well, the problem, I think, what comes down with doing a movie review, it's not as easy as it looks. Especially when, like, he's done a bunch of episodes by himself. It's a hard thing to do. I actually wanted to do a YouTube channel where I did movie reviews, and I was just like, I got like a quarter way through the first movie, and I already had like 3 hours worth of video recorded, and I was like, I can't cut this down, you know. So it's not an easy concept. So I wish him luck with the sports thing. I think it's going to be great because he's a sports nut where I just glaze over and want to die. Benji's great on that shit too. I can't do it.
I'm not a sports guy either, but
I
more
can't.
power to him. More power to him.
But as we always do, our first part is, of course, do you need this tool? And I have 2 videos for you, gentlemen. The first one is a short video. It's about a tool. I think, and I think it only costs like maybe $10. But tell me what you think. Here we go.
New favorite tool. Boom. And now at the end of the day, instead of having
There you go. It's basically just a blow-off valve on your airline. I think that's kind of cool. That's something a hobbyist would use, especially a hobbyist. But not only that, you could put it in any garage.
It's a huge convenience factor. I dig it.
100%. That's a beyond useful tool.
Yeah. It doesn't even look expensive either.
No, like I said, I think it's maybe 10, 12, maybe $20 at the most, depending on brand. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure you could buy them at Harbor Freight, and I think they've been out for about 6 months, something like that. I think it's a brilliant thing. It's something that should have been around since day one, kind of thing. But my next one, gentlemen, this is the one I've been dying to talk about all week. The video's a little bit long. It's about 1:30, and the good surprise is at the end. So let's go ahead and check this out.
About what might be the world's most insane, tiny little V8. I've owned quite a few cars in my day. I've owned 4-cylinders, straight 6s, V8s, and even a 5-cylinder. Starting with the 4-cylinders, they're great. They're compact, they can make a lot of power, and in the right state of build, they can rev for days. Then there's the straight 6. You don't really have to go far to see just how awesome a straight 6 can be. Then you have 5-cylinder engines, which are epic in their weirdness. They sound like nothing else on the road. But all of that said, nothing compares to a V8. V8s are the most versatile engine you can find. Problem with V8s is that in most cases they're quite big. Now the LS, well, it fits mostly anywhere, but it's still not a small engine. And what if you want an American V8 that revs? Well, the Coyote, it's just absolutely massive. So if you wanted a small V8 that revs to the moon and makes good power both NA and boosted, well, you're kind of out of luck. Or are you? Allow me to introduce you to the Hartley Industries H1 Maxi V8, and the highlights are 10,000 RPM redline, over 500 horsepower is NA, and it only goes up from there when boost is applied. Hartley started with the Hayabusa engine and thought, what if we made a V8 using bike technology? Bikes are renowned for their ability to rev to the moon, and well, this V8, like I said, it goes all the way to 10,000 plus RPM. And the upshot to all of this, well, it is absolutely tiny. This is it compared to a Ford 2-liter. I don't know about you guys, but given the choice, and let's face it, a dump truck full of money, I know what engine I'm choosing. Today we're talking about what might
It's so funny that he brought up Hayabusa. As soon as he started talking about this mini V8, I was like, man, I'll slam that in a fucking chopper.
Yeah, well, you know what? Actually, there are videos out there. There's a couple of Hayabusas that they've done these V8 swaps on. Now, this engine has been out for about a year. The bad news, $29,990. But I think that's because it's a new motor. A couple years from now, you'll be able to buy these used. There's a couple of hill climbing cars that, they do Pikes Peak and stuff that have these in them, and they sound amazing.
I'd like to know what the specs, like miles per gallon.
I'm not sure. Like I said, this has been around for about a year. I did look it up. It is, like I said, it's 29 grand. Call it 30.
Muted.
But
yeah, I don't know if I am. I think I'm okay with that price. This seems to be like a low production, right? These are tiny production. So $30,000 for a low production engine that isn't made to the masses. That's probably pretty decent.
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
Well, and when you think about the sound you get, because it sounds like two Hayabusas, so it's kind of like a flat plane engine, almost kind of like your Porsche.
Yep.
But on top of that, it'll fit in something like this easily. I mean, yeah, you got to build motor mounts, but how hard is that?
Did you find one running so we can hear it?
No, but I can real quick because they're, like I said, that's the one thing I forgot. Thank you for bringing that up. Bear with me. Hayabusa V8.
I mean, 10,000 RPMs. That thing is going to scream.
Right?
Stick that thing in like a mini coupe. That'd be amazing.
Ooh.
Yeah. So let me just download this video.
A little like mid 90s Honda Civic.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can put this in almost anything and compete. Like, you go up against an LS, 10,000 RPMs, and it's pushing out 500 horsepower, non-boosted. Now, the torque is probably not as high, so you probably won't be able to do like a giant standing burnout right away.
Yeah.
But you don't really need to. You set something up this and something like this with the all-wheel drive system that you can get on an Eclipse, and you're not going to do burnouts anyways because it's all-wheel drive. But I mean, did it load? Yeah, there it goes. It takes forever. So this is a little clip, and it has to download to my computer. there are like I said, these are Pikes Peak cars that have this motor already in them. They're kind of like Pikes Peak. What's the race they do in England? It's like a flat track. I can't remember what it's called. Haywood or Hay something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, where it's like a time attack track.
Yeah,
not
kinda ish.
It's almost like rally,
but to show off.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what you're talking about.
And it's kind of like that is what this video shows, but you can actually hear these motors, and it's taking forever to process. I hate when it does this. Here we go. And then that goes into Nissan GTR. So,
Totally
I mean,
like a motorcycle.
Yeah, exactly. So you get that awesome. I mean, you grab like a Beetle and you throw this in a Beetle because you can mount it rear. You know, you probably wouldn't be able to use a Beetle transmission, but what are you gonna do? But
fabricate.
Yeah, fabricate it, build it out, and yeah, like Benji said, 29 grand is a lot of money, but it's the ultimate toy.
Sure.
You know, and you know, if you get the right transmission, like I bet you could probably get a adapter plate or make an adapter plate to put it on a Porsche transmission. So you'll have reverse the whole 9 yards. It's not like there's a company in, I think it's in England called Z Cars. They actually take Hayabusa 4-cylinders and put them in cars, like Lotus Elises and Mini Coopers, and they have to. Each one, they have to spend, I think it's $5,000 on a differential that is cable driven to put it in reverse. So you have 8 speeds or 6 speeds in reverse, 6 speeds in forward, which is kind of cool. But it basically just reverses the gears. And those cars go for, you know, of course you buy whatever car you want and then they fabricate it. But you can buy for, I think it's $40,000. They send you a rolling chassis that you just throw a body on. Mm-hmm. Of course, that's if you're in England. If you want to send it to us in the States, or you guys in the States, or me in Mexico, it's probably going to cost a little bit of shipping. But it kind of goes along with today's episodes about toys. It'd be a cool toy to have.
Sure.
And speaking of toys are, as I was kind of saying earlier, toys are anything from tools to bikes. You know, your Harley. You don't need a Harley to get back and forth work. You want one. Don't lie. But as our friend Chris says all the time, I just need 4 wheels and a seat. Well, that's all fun and good if you're just going, you know, point A to point B. But for somebody like me, and I'm pretty sure people like you, for me, it's there's an old ad, I think it was in Super Chevy magazine, and it showed a picture of a beautiful Silverado truck, and it said, it's metal, glass, and rubber. So why do you care so much? And I still haven't figured out the answer, but when you look at the car, you're like, that's why, because it's a piece of rolling art. It's a toy. Yeah, I don't need to have an amazing paint job on my car, but I want one because it's all about being different.
Some people like fashionable clothes. Some people like fast cars.
And then, of course, me, I like everything. But one of my new favorite toys that I want to buy, I have a video for you guys. Benji you and I were talking about this a couple of days ago, and I don't think you've seen a video of these, but there is a new boat. Well, it's a new boat. It's a new style of racing. They're called rally boats. I got a little 24-second video to kind of show you what that means. I'm in. When do we leave? Is my question. There are two people in that boat. It's just like a rally race. One tells you which way to go, one drives. And they are in 1.5 feet of water. It's only about 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet deep. So if you flip, you technically live, but they got to be doing like 35, 40, 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Those boats do get a bit pricey, but it's just like the guys that build, the truck pull trucks and the tractor pulls. And it's a way of getting through the demons and the stress of life is having that toy. One of the guys I watch on YouTube, he literally just builds RC cars. And he builds an RC car like you and I would build a truck, just every part imaginable. And that's kind of my problem with this hobby of tools and cars and stuff. There's so many things that I'm like, ooh, I want that too. And my question is, gentlemen, do you run into the same issue, or do you kind of stick to your one niche? I know, Benji, you have your cigar fetish.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things I'm into. Sure. I mean, it's like, I guess it depends on, there's a couple of different things, right, that you can be into. You could be into, I guess the way I kind of categorize it is, like cars. I'm into cars. I'm into things at my house. And then I'm into things that don't necessarily involve my house, like cigars, right? I can do cigars at my house. I can do my cigars out and about. So I've kind of got a couple of different genres I break down into. So yeah, I mean, it's like, what do you do when you work for all this money? You pay your bills, and that's kind of
right. Exactly. It's
boring.
like, kids nowadays, video games, they have those racing simulators that literally have the full motion. Like if you turn the wheel, you can feel it. I actually saw this girl, and I think it's in Japan, but they have it's an RC car with a camera on it, and it's attached to a racing simulator. So if this thing goes over bumps, she feels everything.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And it's got like a 50-inch TV in front of her, and that camera is projecting to the TV, and she's controlling the little RC car. And she's drifting around with it. She's got like 4 or 5 different trucks. And I was like, you know what? That'd be fun if you had the space.
Yeah.
Or the place to drive.
There was an old arcade game, I think it was in the 80s, that came out that it would actually spin you all the way around, upside down, everything. It was a flight simulator.
Like gyroscopic.
Correct. Yeah. It was, I think currently Galloping Ghost has it. I think it's like Chicago. Mm-hmm. I think they have one, but it's like super rare. They didn't make up many of them. So that's pretty neat. So the technology's been around forever, right? It's kind of like electric cars have been around since the beginning, but they just don't make them very often, right?
Right.
With these kind of video games. But yeah, I'm with you on that kind of stuff. It's super neat.
But like, all the money in the world, I mean, how many toys would you have in all seriousness? I mean, I don't think I would have to have like 4 or 5 extra 100,000 square feet just to put all my toys. Because like
my 100,000 square foot is a garage, not my house. I don't care about the size of my house.
There's a perfect meme, and I don't have it. I wish I did. It shows it's a floor plan of a house, and it shows a bedroom, bathroom, and like a 47 car garage, and it's like, and I'm like, I'm totally in. When do we leave? And I
could live in a camper and have a 10-car garage.
Exactly.
100% to be completely fine with that.
But like, that's part of the toy life, having toys, and they say the men don't grow up. Their price of their toys just change.
Sure.
The price of toys grow up.
Yeah. So we all started out with Hot Wheels and stuff like that. Well, now our Hot Wheels are full size, and it's one of those things. It's like, for me, I think I would need 100,000 square foot garage for the simple fact I want a section just for all my tools, just for all my RC cars, just for my cars, just for my boats, and I'm not the biggest boat guy. As much as I love the water and hate the beach, I'm not the giant boat guy, but I want one or two, you know.
Sure.
And so if you had to stick one genre, and I know we're all three of us are cars, bikes guys, but other than the cars and bikes, what is your next genre that you're allowed to spend as much money on as you want on it if you had money to burn?
I know where I'm going. Blaze, do you already have an answer?
I do. Photography.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah,
Photography.
and that's something I wouldn't think of, but I have dabbled. I know you're an amazing photographer. Like you take those long hikes and get lost and take a couple amazing pictures.
I pretend to be a good photographer.
I've seen your photos. Don't be fucking modest.
Thank you.
But like so when it comes to photography, and I have a question for each one of these, most expensive toy is usually the camera, correct?
Yes, but what now in today's age, the drones are getting up there.
Yes.
Yes.
My kid begs me every time we pass by a drone. Dad, can we get a drone? I'm like, no. He's like, why not? I was like, because I'll wreck it.
Yep.
Because we've all had those stupid little remote control helicopters that break because you fly it in the living room and smash it into the ceiling.
It's never able to get one of those. Are they war hogs, air hogs, or whatever.
Oh yes,
yes.
The ones that the ones that you pump up with air. I remember.
No, it would.
No.
Yeah, they had
They
those
air,
and then later on they came out with RC ones that were just trash.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and if you want to dabble in that game of RC planes and RC helicopters, it becomes expensive real fast. But like so when it comes to your photography, most expensive camera. What's your go-to? I need this. I don't have the money, but one day I will buy this camera.
I don't have one off the top of my head. There's a couple brands I like, mostly Nikon.
I was talking Nikon's kind of like the big boy in that game.
Yeah, but with the camera and all the lenses and everything, you're talking about 15 grand or so, maybe.
Ouch!
More. Yeah.
Wow, that's more expensive than I thought. I was thinking like 5.
No, I mean that's just the camera alone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but when you're getting to some of those lenses for different reasons, like recently when we had that eclipse, there's a special lens for that, so they don't burn out your fucking camera fucking shit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a special lens for eclipse, and God, I wish I would have had one that day.
Well, my other question is are you into the older cameras? Like, would you start collecting old cameras?
I would just
even just display pieces, things like that.
Yeah, kind of like in my study or in my man cave or something like that. But yeah.
Okay. So Benji, your genre other than cars, because we all went 400 cars.
Household activity toys.
Okay.
For sure. ATVs. Things like that, guns that I can kind of do at the house, because the whole point is where I live now. I'm only here for 1 year. Next year I move. That's where I kind of want to set roots. And I told my wife I want to buy land because I want my dirt bikes, my 4-wheelers, my side by sides, and my guns back.
Oh yes. And you watch Blazin'. I think you watch Bikes and Beards, right? On
yes, I have.
You need to check that out, Benji. They got a go-kart that runs a Suzuki, it's a Suzuki 600 motor on it. You don't really need a track for it. You just need a lot of open space. It doesn't work great because the guy that built it wasn't great, so they're rebuilding it. But and now, are you buying stock? Are you buy and then customize?
Oh no, I'm probably just buying stock.
Okay.
Yeah, not really into the customizing on things like that because I just want it to crank up and just work, right?
Well, no, like better suspension or especially like if you're playing in the dirt,
like racing or anything. I mean, I guess if I had a side by side, maybe would jack it up a little bit in the air. I know I've had a pretty high end golf cart. It was a 5-figure golf cart. When I purchased it, and it was jacked up in the air, so I'd probably have another one of those. That was pretty nice and convenient. Side by side, I'd probably jack up, but other than that, I'm not really into customizing those kind of toys. just because, man, they can be fickle sometimes, right? And
Yeah,
I'm not trying to
it
go out
like
there
one
and tinker with them.
sensor's wrong and it won't start.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
get that.
it's and it's not like it just becomes more of a hassle, because shit like that only breaks down when everybody else's stuff is broke down at the same time, and then
Right.
there's 40 freaking four-wheelers in front of yours, and it's like, I just want my stuff back. It's like, yeah, but we'll call you when it's done. When?
Yeah.
Or next month, because deer season's coming up. It's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like, here we go. So no, I'm not into the customizing those cars. I like to customize, but that kind of stuff, I just want to crank it up.
That's a little bit cars are a little easier thing to customize, and there's a billion combinations of, like, if you look at just the 32 Fords, 32 Ford is very basic car, but there's no two alike that are customized.
I don't think there was no two alike when they were built, because they're so hand built.
Yeah, well, you want to talk about, they say Aston Martin's hand built, but you put two of them next to each other, they look exactly the same. The 32 Ford, not. I think when it comes down to, if I had, money to burn on a secondary genre, I think I'm leaning towards, of course, the RC cars. I don't know what it is, but there's a guy, I can't remember his channel. It's Hurricane something, but he builds these RC cars. He took literally a 2x4 or a 2x6 and cut it down the middle with a handsaw, and then built the body out of wood. And to the point, it was so detailed that it literally, if you looked at it at the right angle, sitting in the woods, you'd be like, that's the real thing. And now I don't think I would go that deep into it. I would mostly just, I want one of those RC crawlers. I don't know why. I don't know where I would use it or what I would use it for. Every time I watch those videos, I just lose my mind, and I'm like, that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. I like them too, but again, man, it's one of those things that
it gets expensive really fast.
They break down a lot, and some of them require.
That's why you have 14
things like that. I just don't want to.
Well, they use
to work for stuff. I want stuff to work for me.
I get that. The gas powered ones, they use it's kind of a gas like they use on lanterns.
Kerosene?
No, it's not kerosene. Like like when you go to the hobby stores and you buy, it's kind of like an ethanol.
Yeah,
it's really high octane.
Yeah,
and they use glow plugs on those motors. They're little glow plugs, and you have to actually, it comes, you buy a little glow plug charger, and you put the glow plug charger on, start it, and let it run for a minute. Then you can take the glow plug charger off, and it'll run all day as long as it's got gas.
Sure.
And I've had a couple of them in the past, but yeah, they do break down. Yeah, nitro
Fuel. Yeah.
They're fickle, and when you buy them, like, you'll buy the ready to run ones, and all the suspension, all that stuff is plastic. Yes, you can upgrade it to metal for an extra $1,000, because you got to buy it, and then you got to spend the time to put it. The problem is with the plastic pieces, if you hit something wrong, you just busted the front end. Now you have to replace it.
Yeah.
So it is a fickle thing, but
sure,
I don't think I'll ever get into it. And I've always been I love plastic models, like the ones you build, like Ertl and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I can't get them here, or else I would have like 400. Because like back in the day, I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the 80s and 90s, you go down to hallways of Walmart, and they had a whole row of just model cars.
Just a tiny section now.
Yeah, now it's a joke, but now any days you can buy all that stuff off Amazon, and customizing those, it's kind of the replacement of buying the real deal.
Sure.
Because unfortunately for guys like us, we don't have millions of dollars to go spend on 300 cars and then keep them running. So, having the hobby of extra toys is our way of being the crazy millionaire that buys a $300,000 Mustang. I have a question. Benji. What is the series coming up on the GTD? I read the article, but I read it like a week ago.
What is the what?
You said there's like a TV series on that
Oh
GTD.
yeah, they're gonna do some type of streaming or something with it.
Yeah.
In the process.
7,000 pre-orders, Blaze.
7,500.
7,500 pre-orders.
At the guesstimated start base price of $325,000.
Whoa.
You do the math, that's what, $2.4 billion?
$1 billion. And that's, we got into the discussion a little bit back and forth on text. What do you think Ford's price to build one of those GTDs? Not in R&D. I'm talking about we already have the equipment, build it. 100 grand maybe?
I was thinking 100 grand, yeah.
So they're making over 200 grand a car.
It's got to be.
Anywhere from 100 to 150, I think.
But we don't know the limitations because this is going to be an LE car, right? It's got to be. I mean, because otherwise, it's not worth them putting out a $300,000 car because there's not a. I mean, there's plenty of demand, but you've got to make people really want. I mean, hell, just the Ford GT. They didn't produce a crazy amount of those, and that car's been out for a while, and it's officially done now. But it's taken them a long time to complete the total run. I'm talking about what, 4 or 5
Well,
years?
the first gen of them sucked. Jeremy Clarkson bought one, and he went to start it on his second start, and the starter button broke.
Dope.
So
Dude, that fucking Ford GT, man. That is one of the most gorgeous cars of modern day time.
However, that Hyundai you sent me, you didn't mean to send me that.
No, I did.
That thing is gorgeous.
Freaking awesome.
I'm gonna show you the picture, Blaze. And of course, when we were talking about the GTD, Steven was talking about that Super Snake. And
you sent that too, didn't I?
Yeah, you said. Well, that's how you sent me that Hyundai photo.
No, I sent them both to you. I meant to do it on purpose.
Okay. Because that Hyundai, the Super Snake, is going to be about 160 grand.
Yep.
And I have to actually
it's getting real expensive to own Mustangs now.
Yeah, it's. I'm sorry, but 160 grand for a Mustang is still a lot.
Yeah, but it depends on the numbers they're going to produce, right? Because at the end of the day, you expect loss with some cars, but it's how much loss do you expect when you're first purchasing the car?
Right.
It comes down to the
amount of. But a car like that doesn't really depreciate like if you go buy a Honda.
Well, that's because there's limited quantities of them.
Exactly.
If they produce 10,000, well, it's not a $160,000 car.
Right.
That car, even if they sold it to you, it won't hold up to that price because, there's a whole bunch of them per state. You know, you need to have limited numbers. But I think 500 or less is really your target number for something like that.
Check out the Hyundai.
Man. Hyundai is badass.
Ooh, shit.
It's called the N version 74 supercar. You sent me something about that.
That's a DeLorean look to it.
Right? It's got a real 80s sexiness
Asian,
to it.
it's got a very Japanese 80s look to it.
So supercar blonde. Yeah, here we go. Here's a video. Let me see if I can get. It doesn't look as cool in this video.
Well, it's not even out yet either. So I mean, they're still.
Oh, okay. So it's a prototype.
Mm-hmm.
I
think they've been working on this for there's been talks about this for a little while.
Yeah, it looks like they built like the prototype. And I'm trying to get through this ad. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna go and share this screen if I can figure out how.
So let's go ahead and talk like the way this car looks, right? It's kind of an extreme look, right? This is perfect timing for these companies to start doing things like this across the board because
100%.
Tesla jumped in, right? And was like, I'm going to make something ridiculously crazy with the Cybertruck. And it's super popular. It's time for these companies to start taking these risks because there's definitely a reward for these companies.
Yeah. I mean, look at Tesla. Like you said, the Tesla Cybertruck. A lot of people say it's ugly, but a lot of people like it. I love
it. And I freaking
except for the fact that it's electric.
No, I don't care. That's the reason I want it. Because it's electric. I'm tired of paying for gas as much as I travel.
Agreed.
It's kind of sexy. I like it.
Dude, I dig this thing. Are you kidding me? Look at the fucking lights, dude. This thing's amazing.
I dig it.
Oh,
I'm not mad at it.
Wonder what the 74 is for. Wonder if there's like something they did in 74.
That's what I was trying to see.
Is the N for like Nürburgring edition or something?
I think it is.
Okay.
Based on the N version 74, biggest impression. It doesn't say what the 74 is.
For 74.
It's,
what's
it's a
Envision
fun- it's a fun looking
74?
car. It's fun
Yeah,
looking.
Envision 74. It's kind of cool. I like it.
I like
It-
it. It's
with the
I'm assuming
interior-
it's an electric car.
Well, the interior's nice too.
Yeah,
I like that
looks
it
good.
doesn't have a lot of screens. You know, the problem anymore.
They did a really good job of making it look old school and new school at the same time.
right. It does look
I
like
it.
so. It's based on a pony coupe from 1974.
Okay, there we go.
That's what the 74 means. Yeah, there you go.
What's the 74 mean again?
It's based on a inspired by the pony coupe concept of 1974.
Okay.
I dig it. I think
Zero
How
to
much
it's
is
really
2 in under
well-
3 seconds.
0 to 1.
How much is the the Hyundai Envision 74 at home, which means in Japan is 498,000 won, or about 372,000.
I got
That's
365 right here. That's not cheap.
Are they
No.
going to release it to the States or no?
No. The problem when you release a car to the States comes down to one simple concept. Emissions and bumpers. We all have seen the Countach. The European Countach was amazingly sexy. When they brought it to the States, they had that weird, stupid black bumper on the front.
That's a
And
hybrid
eventually-
EV concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be an EV. It's got to be. That's the way it's going to have to be.
Yeah, but you get that Hayabusa motor and you throw in it and take out the EV, you're golden.
Low volume production cars sometime in 2026.
Okay, so it's not far off.
Yeah,
Interesting. I don't hate it, guys. I actually
I'm not. I'm
I really
kind of
really
liking
like
it. I
it.
think it's
It
sexy.
kind of it's
It's
kind of like
it's that old school vibe. You know, it doesn't look like you're driving a new car. It looks like you took an old car and you modernized it.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the DeLorean, like you said. But on a side note, like what happened to the new DeLorean? We got a teaser about this thing last year, and it has disappeared.
Oh, you haven't seen this? Oh my gosh!
No,
Bear
I,
with
like
me.
I know about it. I've
Yeah.
seen the car, but I mean, it was supposed to be released already,
I thought so too.
and there has been very little word about this thing being for sale yet. When I saw it last, there wasn't a price tag on it. There was not. It was like coming soon, and they released like a half-assed video. Then we finally got to see what it all looks like, and then dead.
Well, here is the DeLorean Motor Company website. And
And I'm
there's
really
what it
happy
looks
for the
like.
guy who bought this company too.
I am too. I think if he does it right. Now,
Mm-hmm.
however, this is also electric, but
It's
and
always
it
gonna be
does.
electric. I think it
Yeah.
had to go that way.
As long as they don't use a steel body and they add a flux capacitor, I'm good.
There
I
it is.
think they did.
Shit.
That's kind of sexy. Now, my only problem is it doesn't have the stainless steel like the original. I love the rim.
That's kind of impractical nowadays, like totally impractical.
Yeah, well, everybody's bitching about the Cybertruck with their.
I think it has the flux capacitor thing in it, though, right?
It has like a display on the
Correct.
inside. I thought I
That's
saw that. Like you can. I'm trying to see if there's any pictures here. It's
Like
called the
the
Alpha 5.
like the on dash screen pops up with this.
Yeah, I think something like that.
Yeah.
There's a launch edition. There's with the doors up.
Oh damn.
Yeah, it looks
Right?
really good.
Yeah, it's kind of sexy car. It's not. I love the rims. Those are nice.
Wonder what it's
Yeah,
going to
there's
be good for.
And I like how they did the reflector. Well, they're reflector lights, but I think they're actually lights. They're not like reflector tape or something.
Yeah, LEDs. Yeah, looks
That
really
is
good.
sexy.
Does it have a price on it, Jeff?
I don't see anything.
Yeah, it's super
Here-
weird, man. Like they just
So,
haven't
yeah.
released.
Estimated
155 miles an hour. Wow.
0 to 88. Nice. 4
4.3.
seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
But 88, I think that's like 0 to 60 is 2.9. Top speed 155, just 300-mile range. 100 kilowatt battery. I don't.
So this concept was revealed in 2022. CNET estimates the price at around. You guys guess real quick.
I'm gonna
200
guess
grand.
175.
If this is Price is Right, Benji would have won 125.
Okay, 125. Yeah, it has to be
There's-
reasonable, right? At the end of the day,
The
it has to be
Alpha Fuel
reasonable. It's a niche to market.
That's the Alpha 4.
I've never even seen that before. I need to go
It's
put my
on the-
dog, guys.
It's
I'll be right
on
back.
the. Yeah, go ahead. This is the concept cars they're building. There's the pickup truck. They're doing a hybrid Targa pickup with twin Goldwing.
Oh
That's kind
wow!
of sexy. I like that. It's a hydrogen pickup, no less.
Man, we are transitioning to future.
Ooh, then you could do. Yeah, that's sexy. The
Speaking
rear
of
end looks like
hydrogen,
the.
Jeff, didn't I send you something about that as well with Hyundai?
Did you? Did
Yes.
Ooh.
Hyundai is getting ready to release a hydrogen vehicle.
Hell yeah!
Oh yeah, here we go.
I know they're doing test flights with hydrogen aircraft, planes and whatnot.
Let's see here. Exit that and share this. This is cool. This is the same page as that
Hyundai N74.
the N74. So once the launch, it's hydrogen powered supercar. So apparently this NV74 is hydrogen powered. It's going to be a hydrogen car. That's even better. I'm 100% in now.
Oh, you
Produced
need a
road ready trial version, so it's not going to be a word I'm looking for. It's not going to be ready for purchase, but it's going to be a trial,
Right. But
which is still fucking cool.
But like BMW built a hydrogen powered motor, and like they even built a special fuel. And I need to find the video on that. Donut Media, their YouTube channel, they did a whole episode where they talked about this hydrogen fuel. Now the problem with this fuel, it's $74 a gallon now, but it is. The only reason is because they only have the one station and they've only made like 15 gallons so far. So, like 100 gallons. I don't know how many gallons, but it's not ready for the public. But they want to get it ready. They want to share the technology. So it's a fun concept. I think that's going to be the wave of the future. That like it's going to make electric vehicles another thing of the past.
Yeah. Again, the whole problem is gas station versus electric charge stations, right? I can go to the gas station, fill my whole tank up, sub 5 minutes, and I'm on the road. You can't do that until they can figure out how to do that with electric.
Well,
anything can yes, I know what you're going to say, but
I know
get all the manufacturers on board for that to possibly ever
China's already done it.
Yeah, but that's China. They have their own set of rules they freaking play by at the end of the day.
I actually just saw a video the other day. I saw a video the other day of this semi truck, and it looks like it's got a sleeper cab on the back, but the sleeper cab section is the battery.
Holy fuck!
And it pulls up next to a building, and the building, a little claw comes out, grabs the battery, takes it off, sucks it in, rotates, and sets new battery on, and the guy's gone.
Again, that only works in dictatorships.
Agreed.
When one person has control of the whole market.
Agreed.
When you live in America, you have to get multiple car companies to agree that.
Well, it's you gotta have standards.
A, B, and C.
Right.
Until that, it just doesn't work.
In a way, that's how our fuel system is set up. It's not like, Ford, Chevy, and Dodge have different ways to fill up their trucks and cars. So, I mean, like, theoretically, we've done it with some things. I don't see why we can't do it with with EV.
And
It can be, but the design feature, you have to set a standard rule saying this
industry
is the
standard.
only 3 batteries we're going to make. And these
Or you can make any battery,
in.
but these are the only connections we can make.
Correct.
Or it has to be removable. It has to be X amount of
Correct.
size. You know, because the concept that I always say that why can't you, just like a AA battery, pull out a battery, throw another one in?
Because we're the ones making the investment to take it out. Someone has to make a large financial investment to invest in multiple batteries. For
because
all these vehicles.
like,
again, it's about storage, right, and charging.
Right.
Again, it's really easy to put up a gas station and you can churn. But we don't have 100 million electric vehicles on the road for to say this is a investment for me to be able to
viable return.
It's just that it's not there yet.
Right.
But if you're in a dictatorship that says we're not going to give you a choice, well, guess what? Everyone has to play by the exact
time to move because I don't want to.
The rule is this is what it is. That's the only way.
The only thing cool, the only thing I find cool about the electric vehicle is their power is insane.
It really is
like
ridiculous.
When you touch the gas, you're already gone. Like you have that moment, even on any bike, any car that's gas powered, any truck, you floor the gas to the floor. And it takes a second, and it goes, okay, I'm thinking about it. Okay, now I'm going.
Yeah.
An electric vehicle, you have that.
Beating race cars.
So
they're
off the lot. You're driving
them
them off the lot and going straight to racing them. It's crazy.
They're being banned from drag racing.
Of course they are. I mean, everyone talks about, oh my God, just Ferraris this, the Ferraris that. But you can go buy a Tesla right off the lot, and it is a street legal race car
for 300 miles, and then you got to charge it.
Yeah, but it's okay because you're not going to get so many laps, and you got to refill the vehicle anyways, right?
How long does it take to charge a Tesla?
Way too long. And it's like 20, 30 minutes.
Well, I think 30 minutes is on the fast charger.
Yeah.
Like
but I've seen
but you're paying per kilowatt.
Yeah,
that's not bad. I mean,
yeah, but it depends on what.
Well, the problem is,
charge.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's a charging fee.
What's that?
There's a charging fee. Then on top of that, if your Tesla will still allow you to keep the fast charging.
Correct.
There's people that like change their lug nuts, and Tesla's like, you're not allowed to have fast charging no more or supercharging.
That's dumb.
Like they shut off the supercharging ability for no reason. Rich Rebuilds on YouTube.
So all these Teslas are still hooked up to Tesla.
Oh, they're Wi-Fi. Yeah, they're Wi-Fi.
And they can turn
automatic updates.
They can shut your car off.
Fuck that.
Yeah, and that's what stops me right there.
I don't like that.
That Big Brother is kind of like a no-no for me as well.
Yeah, and like right now, I think the bill just passed by 2030. All cars have to have a kill switch. That just tells me I'm not buying a new car.
By who?
That's the problem. They don't say.
This is OnStar. You're off.
Yeah, exactly. And my problem is like, I get it. You know, you do it for it's a runaway car, but then you get into the social. What is that? Social score. Like Japan has that. Like if you do something wrong, your social score goes down. You can't do certain things.
Yeah.
Have you seen this? You haven't heard of this? Oh, it's fucking insane.
It sounds like a fucking TV show I watched.
Well, it's actually Orville actually did a episode about it, and then China went and did it. Like if you do something in China, they have facial recognition cameras that will recognize you, and it's not just your face. You can cover your face. We all know that, but it will see the way you walk and be like, "That's Blaze." He flipped that guy off for no reason, even though it was Benji and they were just playing. He flipped him off. That's a bad social score. He no longer can go into Dunkin' Donuts.
That's some fucked up shit. I was thinking that if all the cars can have a kill switch that is obviously triggered, wirelessly, I figured it would be something that law enforcement's going to be like, yeah.
Well, that's 100%. If you rob a bank in a fucking Tesla, you're going to make it a block, and they're like, yeah, we'll just shut it off. He can't go nowhere. Which I'm okay with that, unless I'm robbing the bank. But but the thing is like you give it's the whole you give them an inch, they'll take a mile thing.
Yeah.
And they're gonna do it because you didn't stop fully at a red light or stop sign, or it's that old adage. If you're driving down the road, it's 2:00 in the morning, you're guaranteed to be the only one there. You come to a 4-way intersection and it's a red light. Do you stop or do you run the red light?
Depends.
Are you asking?
You are. Well, it's a legitimate question. So here's the scenario. It is 3:00 in the morning. You're in the middle of Nevada on your way to Vegas. Nothing around for miles. Guaranteed no cars around. Come to a 4-way intersection. You stop because it's a red light. But the red light's going to take 5 minutes. Do you wait or do you run it?
I'll stop. If it waits too long, then I go.
Right.
Yep.
But
Which is
there are
legal.
people. Right. But there are people like, fuck it, I'll just run it.
There are. But that's when there is a cop.
I'm that guy. Well, no, like it's guaranteed. Nobody's around. You're not going to get caught. Do you still run it? It's a moral question.
Yeah.
If I know nobody's around, I'm doing.
Yeah. If guarantee no one's around and nothing's going to happen, yeah, I'd run it. I don't even think it's about morality. I think it's just about practicability.
Practicality.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a joke. This guy, he goes to test drive a car, and he's got the salesman in the side passenger seat, and they fly 120 through a red light. And the salesman's like, "What are you doing? Those are red lights." So it's okay. My brother does it all the time. Comes to another red light, runs right through it. What are you doing? It's okay. My brother does it all the time. Comes up to a green light, slams on the brakes. He's like, "What are you doing? It's green." He's like, "My brother might be coming the other way." But it's the problem I have with being able to shut off somebody's car. It's
hackers.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I'm bored and I know what I'm doing, I'll shut your car off just because it's funny.
And there are people out there that will do that.
Well, yeah, it's just like people come onto. There's a reason why people troll. There's a reason why people do anything. It's another toy that you can play with. And you give that toy to the wrong person, you're on your way to the hospital. Your mother's dying in the back seat, and they shut off your car because you're speeding.
Yeah, it creates big, huge problems.
It's way too much chaos than is needed.
Yeah, it's
Correct.
too
you
much.
Get into like Big Brother situations. You can get into just not just local hackers, but you can get into international hackers and things like this that can create chaos for an economy. When you're connected to a grid like that, it's anytime you involve Big Brother, that's where the complications and
it's usually going to go wrong.
Correct.
And I have no problem with government per se. It's the morons in government that I have a problem with.
I think the idea of a whole swath of cars being on the road that at some point in time the person driving it can lose absolute control while going down the road with multiple cars doing the same shit because of whatever happens. I think that creates a huge, huge public risk.
Oh yeah. Well, another thing with the electric cars is I'm worried about EMPs.
Sure.
Electromagnetic pulse. I mean, yeah, if you do an electromagnetic pulse, I won't be able to start the Eclipse because the points go bad, certain things. But those are quickly fixed. If you do an EMP on an electric car, it's a dead vehicle. It's a paperweight.
Yard ornament. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, the only way I would buy, I was talking about Rich Rebuilds. There's a guy on YouTube. He actually rebuilds Teslas. He buys them at Copar, wrecked, and rebuilds them. He has still yet to get supercharging on any of the rebuilt Teslas that he's built because Tesla's not a fan of him rebuilding because Tesla's model is, it's broke, buy a new one.
Sure.
Which kind of negates the problem of, buying an electric vehicle.
Planned obsolescence.
Yeah. Well, but planned obsolescence, there's an old line I saw on a TV show said, my friends at Gillette can make a razor so sharp you will never need to buy a new one, but they don't, because you'll never need to buy a new one.
Correct.
So, which I'm fine with. I don't mind spending an extra $2 on Gillette. But when it comes down to a $60,000, $80,000, $90,000 car, and the first wrecked Tesla Cybertruck got T-boned, and they totaled it. The body is fine. It needs 2 doors replaced. That's it. They totaled it out. It still runs and drives perfectly, but they totaled it out. So you could literally go buy that car at Copart, buy 2 doors. If Tesla will let you buy 2 doors, that's the kicker. Tesla doesn't like to sell parts. If you could buy the parts, then you could actually have a brand new Cybertruck for a couple grand. So it's that weird. Yeah, I just can't get behind electric cars. Not yet,
Brian.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be on a bicycle from now on.
No, you just buy a 1986 pickup truck, and nobody can kill those things.
Yeah.
And you got plenty of bed storage. But when it comes to going back to the whole toy thing, for me, I wouldn't buy a Tesla. Speaking of electric cars, I wouldn't buy a Tesla as a daily driver. It would be my toy.
I just want to buy a Tesla, but that's for personal reasons. I'm not a big fan of.
Electric cars in general. I saw a guy the other day.
I'm not against electric cars. Like, I want one for the utility, for gas, save gas and cut down on pollution or whatnot. I mean, I'm all hippy dippy about that shit. It's just
You're woke.
price. No, I'm just hippie. But price wise, it's just not there for your for your normal everyday person. So
Completely agree.
Well, I watched a video the other day. If, like, Blaze, you have that Kia.
Mm-hmm.
How long ago did you buy your Kia?
I bought it brand new in 2018. So I've had it for 6 years. Matter of fact, the road trip I was just on up to Kentucky, like I can sit there and look at my gas mileage. For most of the trip, I was about 41, 42 miles per gallon.
I watched a guy. So you've had your car about 6 years. You'll probably have it about 10 before you decide to sell it, right?
Probably.
Okay. I saw a guy the other day. I was watching him on TikTok. He bought a Nissan Leaf, which is an electric vehicle. He's had it for 10 years. It's gone through 4 batteries at $10,000 a pop.
That is too funny, because I have a customer that has a Nissan Leaf that is sitting in his driveway that Nissan refuses to fix, and the battery has taken a shit.
See, that's ridiculous. And those are the costs that hasn't come
everybody talks about
the average person. And you're right. I worked at O'Reilly's one time, and this is like back when Teslas were just coming out. This was in 2011-ish, 2012, when stuff like that was starting to really pick up. And just for shits and giggles, we looked up how much an EV battery costs, because we actually had a customer come in and try to buy one, but you have to have like certain permits in order to order it, whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 20 grand at that time.
Yeah.
But he wanted one. He had the money for it. I don't think it was for like some manufactured EV. I think he was building his own or some shit like that. But,
that's got to be quite the install on that too, though.
yeah.
Well, actually, according to Rich Rebuilds, if you watch, he actually replaced the battery in a Tesla. It took like 3 hours.
Okay.
How did he lift that up, though?
No, he actually, what he did is he actually
Cherry picker.
no, because it's underneath the car.
Yeah.
It's the belly pan. It's the belly
Okay.
pan between the wheels. And what he did is he actually took a 4-post lift and he put the car up on jack stands.
Yeah.
But he used transmission stands. So he lifted up the car so it's a good 3 feet off the ground, and then put the 4-post 2-post lift. It's got the 2 things on each side. Unbolt it, and then you slowly raise it down and start disconnecting. He said it took like 3 hours.
He didn't raise it down. He raised it up. He can't raise anything down.
I want to bet. I'll just prove it.
That must be how they do it in Mexico. That's not how they do it
pump up
anywhere
the jam, so to speak.
Once you're underneath, though, yeah.
But yeah, and I think he wasn't replacing the battery. What happened is those batteries have a coolant system.
Yep.
And the connection from the car to the battery, the piece, it was a 90-degree elbow. Tesla wanted like $500 for this little plastic 90-degree elbow. And he went and bought an electrical part and made it work. Threaded it and bolted it in.
Yeah.
But in order to put that part in, they had to drop the battery.
Sure.
So and a lot of the cars he's done, he actually did, he took a Tesla 3 and he LS swapped it. And it's cool. And it's just as quick.
Once we get more companies to do electric cars, right? Prices on things are going to come down at the end of the day.
Yeah,
right?
But they haven't. I mean, how long's Tesla been out? It's been at least 15
but you're talking
years.
about one manufacturer. You have to sway a market for things to come down in price, right? I mean,
and Tesla is the iPhone of
one company that does bread, but you have like 3 or 4 that kind of make some bread.
Right.
How much is a loaf of bread? It's going to be super expensive, but you need a ton of people to produce. And they're trying, right? The Ford Lightning failed. Chevy's not doing a great job. So it's like,
is Chevy even really looking into electric vehicles?
They did one. They had the Volt.
I think another thing
have you seen one?
No,
I haven't.
They go better in other countries. In other countries, EVs.
Oh yeah.
I think in some aspect it's a cultural thing here in America. I think there's I think there's so much pushback against it that it's going to be a very slow catch on. I think it's going to be a generational thing that we're waiting on for.
Well, you have to have the infrastructure at the end of the day, right? I can't go.
That is no, but there's even pushback on even building the infrastructure.
That's the issue. That's what I'm saying. When you want to do the swap of the batteries, the initial investment has to be from the manufacturer, right?
Yeah.
It has to be. But if you only have one major player that is doing EV,
they can set the price.
Yeah, well, they can set the price and saying, "Hey, man, in order for you to swap this battery, it's going to be $1,500." There's no competition. You have to have multiple players from the big 3. I don't even want to say 3 anymore. What do you got? 4 or 5 that could be into this, and that way they can share the load equally. To be like, all right, let's really change the transportation landscape, right? If you want better transportation with ease when it comes to electric, it's going to take the manufacturers to help us, right?
Oh, 100%. It's
electric, and we were just now coming out with gas, and there's 20 gas stations between here and California. Gas is never going to take off. It just doesn't make sense. It's not viable for it. I mean, you run out of fucking electric on the side of the road. What are you to do? You're screwed. You're knocking on people's doors like, hey, or you got to bring a generator with you that runs off gas.
Or
so
diesel.
It just doesn't make sense currently.
Well, the infrastructure, like what was it they were saying in California? They were telling people they were having rolling blackouts. They were telling people stop charging your electric vehicles. Fuck you! I gotta go to work.
Yeah, but it's mandatory now over there, right?
I think they're 2030. They want everything to be electric. All cars to be electric, and all new cars to be electric.
Yes, but I think they're already kind of pushing the narrative now. It's like
the problem is the grid. The grid is a joke. Texas, a little snow a couple years ago, and they had no power.
It's always going to be an issue. It's never not going to be an issue, and they want everybody connected to a grid.
What BMW and Hyundai are doing with hydrogen is the way to go, because hydrogen you can get in liquid form.
Yep.
Which means you can add it to a gas station in what? A week? I mean, you probably have to put a second tank in.
Sure.
Okay, so call it a month, and you could have every gas station adds another tank. They usually put them underground, so you have to put it underground, whatever. Dig a big hole, put it in there, do whatever you need to do, and then you got hydrogen.
Well, of course, I got every BP and Shell station that'll absolutely be like,
switch over to the next.
But again, it's going to take more than one manufacturer producing one specific vehicle. They're going to have to produce 3 vehicles that are hydrogen, and you're going to need 4 manufacturers to do it. In order
But-
for them,
but as you and I
it's a
talked about-
multi-billion-dollar company for a reason. They don't
As
lose
you and I
money.
talked about, though, you have to start with the big car and work down to your cheap cars.
Well, that's Tesla's model, right?
No, but that's
supposedly
the
we're
model
supposed to
that works.
be- correct. So that's always been Tesla's model to try to get to a sub $20,000 vehicle, which I think is in the works, going to be released at some point.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be about
pretty
25.
soon, because that was always the point: start high and then work your way down.
Right. Yeah, because they're talking about the. I can't remember what model it is, but it's
I
the
can't
new
remember the
Tesla.
model either, but it's a tiny little 2-seater car. It's
Yeah.
but it's sub $20,000.
I hate to be a party pooper,
I know.
but I know the guys over on Talking Shit's going to have
No,
an interview tonight with Al Snow. So
Yeah, so let's go ahead and wrap it up. I do have one last thing to announce. So and as car guys, I think you guys will appreciate this. I told this to Chris last night, and he's like, "Who's that?" The UK's Sexiest Man came out. Does anybody want to take a guess on who won #1 spot?
The F1 driver.
Nope.
the dude from God damn it, man,
A soccer
total
player?
brain. No, I'm guessing it's that dude who bought that farm and shit.
That's right. It's Jeremy fucking Clarkson.
That's
Really?
him.
Jeremy Clarkson.
UK
I've seen it. I do have the
Number
thing that says
2
season
is
3.
Tom Holland. And then number
Nice.
3 is Idris Elba. So it's like Jeremy Clarkson is so it's sexy to be a car guy, apparently. I'm just saying, we're winning. I call that a
Well,
win.
age is like a fine wine, then.
That's awesome.
But yeah, let's go ahead and end the show. We're gonna go ahead and play our intro as our exit, and then we'll give our goodbyes.
I heard she was in a burn rubber and making motors blow. So after school, asked her just how fast she liked to go. She said, how many kids catches you got where it counts? I told her 125 and she broke my motor mount. She's a hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod ain't enough for her. She didn't say a word. She's a hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. And I'm in my rod to pose. She's a hot rod whore. Well, she's seen all top pistons, salt and brake shafts too, and a vulnerable and a positive traction brake turns her to go. Flat head, no heck, give her the kind of head buddy okay will wag. Listen, but her sitting on your hook, it's in the bag. She's a hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. This you don't need to know your son, just your token power. She's a hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. Hot rod whore. The shining rod right to pose. She's a hot rod whore. Hot rod.
There it is. All right, boys. Everybody stay tuned for Talking Shit. They're coming up with who they interviewing again?
Al Snow.
Al Snow. Excellent. They're going to come up here in about, I think it's, they're going to do in about 30 minutes or something like that, I believe, if I remember correctly. They'll be on here on the Nonsensical Network, just like we are, every Tuesday. Tomorrow, of course, is Wednesday, which is the What the Fuck News. And I think Talking Shit has another episode on Thursday this week. And then, of course, Friday, I think Glick's taking the week off for Glick's House of Music because he did one last week. And then, of course, Saturday is Nonsensical Nonsense, where we're going to have the open door challenge. So Benji, or one of you, Benji, if you want to go, what's your outro for tonight?
Well, I guess I got to go recharge my batteries because we are all going electric.
Apparently. There you go. I like it. I like it. Blaze?
Man, I don't got much of an outro tonight. Like I said, I've kind of run ragged from the driving all this weekend, but I'll see you crazy fuckers on Saturday. That's
There
for
you
sure.
go. And then, of course, as I think I'm going to start saying all the time, go out there and do some work, son. And we are out.